You must be talking about another candidate. The reality is that I've been involved in trying to stem illegal immigration from long before you ever read about me, when I was Associate Attorney General of the United States. I've always had exactly the same position. And New York City was not a sanctuary for illegal immigrants. New York City was a place in which we urged the federal government to deport as many illegal immigrants as they could possibly deport. We cooperated with them in doing that, in deporting illegal immigrants. What you're talking about is the following. New York City, at the time that I was mayor, had somewhere around 400,000 illegal immigrants, or undocumented immigrants. At least that was the estimate. You never know how many you really have. The Immigration Service could deport about 2,000 of them a year. 2,500, 2,000, 2,500 a year. I wanted them to deport more than that, not less than that. I wanted them to deport all of the illegal drug dealers that were in New York City, all of the criminals, which exceeded the 1,000 to 2,000 a year that they were deporting. But they wouldn't prioritize that. In other words, they would put a person who was working as a professor with a visa ahead of a person who was a drug dealer. Or they put a person who was working as a gardener ahead of a criminal and deport them. It was an irrational policy. It continues to somewhat be an irrational policy. I had a city that had tremendous crime. We had 2,000 murders a year. We had 11,000 serious crimes a week. I had to reduce crime. So I wanted the Immigration Service to concentrate on the criminals. Now, here are the three areas that you're talking about that you have distorted into this view that I gave sanctuary to illegal immigrants. I wanted illegal immigrants thrown out by the Immigration Service, particularly the criminals. Number one, since we had 400,000 people there, and we weren't able to deport them, and they were going to be there permanently, the question is, do you let their children go to school or not? The quick answer would be, no, they're illegal, don't let the children go to school. But now if you're the mayor of a city like that, and you have 60,000 children at home all day, what kind of city are you going to have? You're going to have a city where those crime rates, first of all, those children are going to be victimized, and how many of them are going to be let into crime? So you have to let the children go to school. If the federal government had done its job and was able to deport people, fine. But if they're not, you've got to deal with it. Second issue, what do you do about an illegal immigrant who is the victim of a crime? Now, not the criminal. The criminal I wanted thrown out and cooperated with the Immigration Service in doing that, and probably pushed them to throw out more than they were capable of throwing out. That's why you're wrong. What about the immigrant, however, that's the victim of a crime? Illegal immigrants are victims of crime. Somebody beats them, somebody rapes them, somebody steals their property, someone kills them. Do you want them to be able to cooperate with the police to catch the criminal? Or are you going to say, if you show up in a police precinct, we're going to throw you out? Well, of course you want them to cooperate. There's 400,000 people. I needed their cooperation to catch the criminals. So if you came and reported a crime, we weren't going to turn you in. And the third one is, if you had sought treatment in a hospital for an emergency, were we going to turn you in? Of course not, because we're not going to let you die. And we're not going to let you also spread communicable disease. Those were three policies that my predecessors, two before me, had come up with. I thought they were rational, I thought they were sensible, and as mayor of New York City, if I was nothing else, I was rational and sensible. And here's what I was able to accomplish. I reduced homicide at 2,000 per year by 67%. I reduced those 10,000, 11,000 serious crimes a week to about 4,000, 3,000. I had a much better city, I had a safe city, and I would have encouraged the federal government, and did, to throw out a lot more of those criminal illegal immigrants. They just weren't capable of doing it.